you are right on time for us to head to the property of the week as I magically whisk us away here to 1243 Denaud Street, Jacksonville, Florida, 32205. It is a lovely little picture here. It looks like a rehab, and it's got an estimated ROI of 12.05%, a purchase price of $215,000, monthly rent of $1,498, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1,535 square foot, annual vacancy rate of 4%, annual maintenance rate of 7.5%, and annual appreciation rate of 4.6%. And you can download this sheet in the chat or go to jwbinventory.com. But before you do that, I want to know from GC, what do you love about this property?
Well, you know how Madison teased why the client only call is going to be awesome, and I went along with it, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I make you guys wait until we talk about this incentive, until it's gonna be on the client only call. I was just messing around. You know that I bring all the stuff that I can to you guys ahead of time. For all of you who show up here on the call, right? Even the folks who are on the podcast right now, by the time this comes onto the podcast, it's gonna be too late. But we're gonna talk about this incentive that JWB is doing for clients, because I know interest rates have spiked at the highest spike in the shortest amount of time that I can remember. And it might be of all time, right? It has been a large spike, 2.5 percentage points from where we were not that long ago, just a few months ago. And I know it's on the minds of a lot of our clients. So for JWB, we said, well, let's do something about it. Let's make it a little bit easier for our clients to get to those passive income goals. And so what you see at the bottom of the week little slide here is JWB offering an incentive, which happens like next to never, but I thought this was a good time to do it. So JWB, in addition to that interest rate being lower on the evaluation and dropping to 6% on your evaluation, JWB is also going to help you and buy down your interest rate. That means that we're going to pay so that your interest rate is not 6%. So it's a little bit lower. It depends on your criteria, but by doing this should again lower that interest rate between 1/8 to an additional 1/4 of a point for all of those clients that take advantage of this. And you guys are the first to find out about it, which is really cool. You do have to put that property under contract and close on it by October 15th. With any great incentive, you would imagine there's a timeline and a deadline to do it. And so if you're thinking about taking advantage of this and you're working backwards, this is something you need to put under contract very soon, because it does take 30 to 60 days to be able to get all of your documentation in and to be able to close on that property. You're at the whim of the bank many times, and you're at the whim of preparing your documents. So this is something that's really time sensitive. And if you want to take advantage of it, you're going to need to put that property under contract in the immediate future, like today, over the next week, somewhere around, and then you can make sure you get to that landing spot of the 15th of October and get that incentive without stress.
Not a lot of incentives since I've been around JWB. So pretty exciting stuff to see. Well, is that only for this property, or is that for all properties?
Well, that's for all properties, of course. That is not the
reason. Tell me what you love about this property, bro.
Well, I love that about this property plus all properties. Let me get a little bit more specific on why I love this property on Denaud. Pablo and I have talked about the value of buyer credits. You guys know Pablo is my boy, and we talk all the time, and we run Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he shared his plan with me. We've built his buying plan together. So when Pablo lets me know that there's a time that he wants to be able to make that next purchase, it's in his buying plan, and I'm starting to look, and my team's starting to look for that, the first thing I look for is buyer credits, because they are also very, very rare. A buyer credit allows you to buy this property, and then you're going to have a certain amount of money set aside for things for either maintenance costs or for rents as well. And so in this property, you have $7,000, over $7,000 of buyer credits for the client that buys this property. $3,000 in rent credits roughly, and $4,000 in construction credits. And those are just sitting there waiting for you. It's like, it's a credit. So as things happen in your account, it doesn't come out of your pocket. Because as we know, as rental property investors, you know how much I love this asset class, but the reality is that bad things do happen to your properties. You do have to come out of pocket every once in a while to pay for something, but you don't if you have $7,000 just waiting there in a credit. So That's what I love first and foremost about this property here. Did a little bit more research on the resident that's in this home. Oh, I should mention, it's already rented, which again is very rare. Normally right now you have to be on a waiting list to buy a property for, our friends out there in this industry. Usually people don't have available inventory, but if they do, it's not rented. This is a home that is already performing day one, all 5 of those profit centers working for you. And the resident here has been in place since 2017. So they clearly love the home. They then made an additional decision to renew on a 2-year lease just in May of this year. So May of 2022, so just a few months ago. So they're in for another 2 years. And the last kicker here is I checked and the rent actually goes up another $39 a month. And that starts in May of 2023. So love a lot of things about this property. And the last thing, look at the purchase price. I mean, it's $215,000. That's really low in today's environment here. Your purchase price is generally a lot higher than that. So for those who are on a budget and they want to be able to get into a lower price property, this fits the bill there too.
It's a great deal, man. It's a slam dunk. Like I'm looking at, the last property that I bought, which is around this price, also had a buyer credit, but also had a potential turn, right? Like this has like all the ingredients of like baked in, like amazing, front and upside. That's really, really cool. Is there any difference in the cash flow of a renovated property versus a new construction property?
Not really. No, which is surprising to people, right? Cash flow is a factor of your purchase price, your rent coming in, your maintenance expectation, your vacancy expectation, right? There's a lot of things that go into it. Now, in new construction homes, you generally have a higher purchase price, which works against your cash flow. You generally have a higher rent too, which helps to offset that. You generally have a lower insurance cost, which we all love, but your property taxes are higher because your purchase price is higher. So that kind of offsets it. Then on the maintenance and vacancy side, you see slightly higher maintenance costs for a renovated property than you do for a new construction. So for new construction, that's lower again. We like that. And your vacancy costs slightly lower. Not that much though. You put all that together, you compare that with a renovated property, you flip it, right? For a renovated property, your purchase price is generally lower, like you're seeing here on Denaud Street, right? The rents are a little bit lower, but your property taxes are lower because purchase price is lower. Your insurance costs are a little bit higher, and your maintenance and vacancy costs are slightly higher. You put all that together in the wash, and it comes out, and your cash flows and your returns on investment for both new construction and renovated homes, very similar. Very similar. You guys should see that as fans of the show, because I put new construction homes and renovated homes up here as properties of the week, and you guys don't see a difference in return on investment. They're all really around 11, 12% or so. And then if you think about long-term value of holding a new construction home versus a renovated home, you guys are not buying and selling the next year. If you were buying and selling the next year, if you were flipping, I could see there being a reason, to invest in a new construction home than a renovated home. But the reality is, for you all to win with all 5 profit centers, you got to buy and hold for a long time. You got to buy and hold for a 10 to 20 year span to be able to see the max benefit from all 5 profit centers. When you do that, it doesn't matter if it's a new construction home or a renovated home. All of them, new construction renovations, they all profit basically the same from all 5 profit centers. They all get principal pay down. They all get tax savings, right? They all have net rental income. They all appreciate. And over a long time period like that, they appreciate. There's no difference between new construction and renovations. So you don't get more appreciation from a new construction home when you're buying and holding and trying to maximize all 5 profit centers. And of course, they all are a wonderful hedge against inflation. So that's why I have both renovations and new constructions in my portfolio. I have for a long time. I have more renovations than I have new constructions, just because I started in 2006 and we didn't start building new construction until 2011. But I'm agnostic when it comes to new constructions or renovations, and I would advise you all to be as well.
That makes a ton of sense, man.